Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a theory that's, well, it's pretty mind-bending. It proposes that our universe isn't just a collection of stuff. It suggests that reality is actively being written, moment by a kind of cosmic source code. You know, we all learn that physics gives us the rule book for reality. Gravity, electromagnetism, the whole shebang. But what if that's not the whole story? What if those laws aren't just describing the game? What if they're the literal lines of code that write our reality into existence? That's the core idea we're digging into today, a universe that's fundamentally built not on particles, but on pure mathematics. So you might be asking, why do we even need an idea of this out there? Well, it's because our current understanding of physics has some pretty major glitches in its system. Our standard models are amazing, but they hit a wall trying to explain huge mysteries like dark matter, or something as fundamental as why time only flows in one direction. These are serious bugs in the code. This is the fundamental shift in thinking right here. On the left, you've got this standard view. Reality is made of little bits and pieces held together by forces. But on the right is this new idea, reality as a resonance engine. In this view, matter isn't the cause of things, it's the effect. It's the output you get when a deeper, invisible structure starts vibrating in just the right way. Okay, so if matter is just an output, what's it running on? What's the hardware? The theory calls it the scaffolding of space-time, and a great way to think about it is like a universal hard drive, where the data for all of reality is stored. And here's what that hard drive is made of, the Prime Wave Lattice. According to this theory, empty space isn't empty at all. It's a highly structured, invisible geometric grid. And the truly wild part, the architecture of this entire grid is supposedly defined by one of the purest concepts in all of math, the distribution of prime numbers. And this isn't just an abstract idea. It connects directly to the physical world we see. The theory says an atom's physical size isn't random. It's determined by its precise location within this prime number lattice. This formula right here shows that an atom's radius is directly linked to z, its atomic number. A physical property is literally being derived from a mathematical address. And now for the theory's biggest and boldest claim. Remember that glitch we called dark matter? That mysterious stuff that makes up most of the universe? Well, this theory says that this invisible, mathematically defined scaffolding, that's dark matter. It's not some exotic particle we need to find, it's the fundamental structure of space itself. So we have the hardware, this prime wave lattice, but how does that structure actually generate the reality we all experience? That brings us to what you could call the print-to-reality command, the mechanism of holographic creation. The idea is that physical matter is basically a projection, a lot like a laser hologram. It's formed when two different waves interfere with each other. First, you have the universal reference wave. Think of it as the constant background hum of the cosmos. And then you have the specific object wave, the unique frequency, the unique signature for a particular atom, like hydrogen or carbon. And this single line of code is what runs the entire show. The intensity at any point in space, which is just a fancy way of saying, does something exist there or not, is the result of this simple operation. This is the core command that combines the universal background with an object's unique signature to literally print it into reality. This is where it gets incredibly specific. I mean, if reality is a program, what are the inputs? What is the actual source code that defines something as fundamental as a single atom? It apparently comes down to these four key inputs. Think of them like four dials on a cosmic control panel that have to be tuned with absolute precision. You've got the strength and alignment of the background wave, and then the intensity and the internal spin of the object wave. If you get these four numbers exactly right, boom, you get a stable atom. If you're off by even the tiniest fraction, you get nothing at all. So let's look at the simplest element out there, hydrogen. Its source code is just beautiful. It's so simple, a perfect 1.0 for both the background and object wave amplitudes, and a phase of 0. This precise set of numbers is the mathematical definition of hydrogen in this model. Okay, so how do we know if the code is any good? In computer programming, you compile your code to see if it runs without errors. Well, this theory has its own version of a compiler, a metric that tells you whether a given set of inputs is actually going to result in stable physical matter. It's called the Reconstruction Quality Index, or RQI. This score is basically a report card for the print job. It's a percentage that tells you how perfectly the wave's interference pattern managed to lock into that underlying geometric grid of space. And the results are completely black and white. For stable matter to exist, for anything to be real, the RQI has to be exactly 100%, 0.0000%, not 99.9, a perfect 100. This means perfect constructive interference. It's the mathematical signature of existence. So what's on the other side of that coin? What about antimatter? Well, in this model, it isn't some strange, exotic mirror substance. It's just the other mathematical absolute, an RQI of 0.0000%. Total destructive interference. The waves cancel each other out completely. So matter and antimatter are simply the two perfect opposing outcomes of a single cosmic equation. All right, time for the final and maybe the biggest piece of this puzzle. A model like this can't just describe static objects. It has to explain change, motion. It has to explain time itself. And the theory's answer is simple. The program is always running. So what is time in this framework? It's not a dimension we travel through. Instead, time is the process of an atom constantly adjusting itself, its internal spin, to stay in perfect sync with the rotating cosmic lattice. As the universe expands and turns, matter has to constantly chase that rotation to keep on existing. That chase, that constant adjustment, is what we experience as the flow of time. And of course, there's a variable for it, phi rot. This represents that cosmic rotation, and it acts as the mathematical engine that drives time forward. You could almost think of it as the refresh rate of our universal simulation, the clock speed of reality itself. And that leaves us with this really profound final thought. If a model like this is even close to correct, our solid physical world is anything but. We are essentially holographic projections, and our existence from one moment to the next depends entirely on our atoms staying perfectly in tune, resonating with a universal mathematical code. So it really makes you wonder, what does that mean if the universe isn't a place we live in, but a calculation that is constantly being solved?